Welcome guys to Dogs of War YouTube channel. Today we have the long-awaited D&D class review. We're back and from a hiatus. We got a new co-host. Pat has been very busy, moving and doing other stuff. So
I'm taking care of his kid and stuff.
So we have Josh here to help us.
Yep.
Today we got Fighter.
Yes.
One of the iconic classes of D&D.
You're like go-to tank. You're, sword and board kind of guy. Kind of one of the, in the older editions, kind of like a boring class.
True.
Not a lot of people went with the fighter because he didn't specialize in anything.
Supposedly 4th edition was supposed to make it more different, but I think it made him more like almost like a wizard.
Well, 4th edition, they kind of made almost everybody like a wizard,
yeah.
Unfortunately. But
now
this is 5th edition.
Yep.
So some of the differences from fighter, or some of the similarities as well from the other classes with fighter and them. Starting off level 1, you get to choose a fighting style, which is unique to Paladin, Fighter, and maybe the Barbarian. I'm not 100% certain of that one. But a fighting style, level 1, right off the bat, which is awesome.
So you guys are archery, defense, dueling, great weapon fighting, protection, and 2-weapon fighting. So
right off the bat, you notice that playing a fighter is not about playing the sword and board kind of person, tanking damage for everyone, being the ultimate protector. They give you options right at level 1 of what path you want to take. I could be an archer. I could be a dueling person with just bosh like Ikamotoya,
Enigmament.
I can dual wield weapons. I can have a great weapon and freaking do a lot of damage.
And if you do want to do the sword and board, they do have defense.
Oh yeah,
and protection.
They have 2 different styles of doing the sword and board. Do I just want to not get hit a lot, or do I want to protect my friends?
Yep.
It's really cool that they added that element right off the bat at level 1.
And you get second wind.
Second wind, which is one of the only ways for you to heal in combat.
Besides being a cleric,
Besides being a cleric, of course. A non-spell orientated way of healing. You can only heal yourself, but you can heal, as a bonus action, D10 plus your fighter level. So it's not based off of con, it's not based off dex, it's not based off strength. So regardless of what build you go, you're regaining your second one is always going to be at its max capacity.
And right off in level 2, Accent Surge.
Accent Surge, yep. Once every short or long rest, you can get another action. Why not? It's awesome.
Yep. And like at level 3, like most classes, that's when you start specializing.
That's when you start splitting off.
There's only 2 though.
There's 3.
There's 3. Oh
yes. 3 archetypes. We have the champion, who's kind of more of the guy who deals with increasing his martial abilities, making you crit on 19s and 20s, which is awesome. Lets you get bonuses to doing running, climbing, dexterity, constitution, strength checks. And an extra fighting style. That is awesome. That is unique to everything else. All other characters in the game who have access to fighting style can only choose 1. But if you go to fire with a martial archetype, you get 2.
The champion archetype.
Champion, yes.
And you get superior crit, 18
superior
plus.
crit, so you're gonna crit on an 18 to 20, which is awesome. And survivor. At the start of your turn, you regain 5 plus your Constitution modifier back. You don't get it You don't get this regen if you're at 0 hit points, but of course that's at level 18. It looks like a lot of classes are increasing like super durability at that level. But that's pretty sweet.
Yep. Then you have Battle Master.
Battle Master, yeah. Which is kind of weird. You get a combat superiority die, which help you do maneuvers, which is similar to spell-like effects. You actually use some of your abilities actually proc saving throws, which is like a saving throw for the other characters. You add 8 plus your proficiency, and then you get to choose Dex or Strength when you take this archetype. So if you're kind of like a ranged person, you can take Dexterity and you're still very efficient at it. Or if you're kind of a melee person, you choose Strength, and obviously you're going to have a better Strength than Dexterity. And then at 3rd level, you gain proficiency of an artisan tool of your choice. I'm not 100. It's kind of a little lackluster compared to some of the other abilities.
Knowing your enemies, kind of cool.
Yeah.
Just spend at least a minute observing or interacting with another creature, and you learn its stats.
Yeah, you get to know what of them?
You can know
two of them.
Yeah, 2 of them. Either strength, dex, con, armor class, current hit points, total class level, or fighter class levels.
So it's kind of like you're sizing up the dudes.
Yes. Improved superiority. That means normally you only get
D8s.
D8s. This one will be D10s. And going back to that, so you get the combat superiority, and there's different maneuvers you can use. They go disarming. You could use feint attack, maneuvering, parry is one of the I like to use. Riposte, sweeping attack, trip attack. There's a ton of maneuvers you can choose, and they work very different. Like parry, when a creature damages you with a melee attack, you can use your reaction and spend a superior dice to reduce the damage by the number you rolled on superior dice plus your dexterity modifier. So,
and this can go to 0 too.
Yes. So if you hit me for 8, I rolled a d8 and I get a 4, and I get a 5, and my dexterity modifier is 3. It's 8. I don't take no damage. And you could do early on. You could do 4 times because you get 4 dice, and then. It's very good. It's and they have all different types of different ones.
Yeah, you get more dice later on in levels, as well as the dice.
At 15, you get that's not it. Yeah. You regain when you roll initiative and you have no superior dice, you regain 1.
That's awesome.
So that's basically you're using 1 every turn.
So kind of the weak side of the Battle Master is that he doesn't have a high-end bonus.
Exactly.
But he gets more, as he levels up, he gets more access to these maneuvers. So it's almost like a pseudo wizard who, as he levels, he gets more access to more spells and stuff like that.
And the last one?
No, it's okay. Eldritch Knight. So this is like the half fighter, half wizard class of D&D. A lot of the older players and even some of the newer ones liked multi-classing into fighter and wizard. And
just to have a wizard in armor get cast spells.
Exactly. This one, they put it into one archetype. Of course, you have to have intelligence as your modifier for this, so keep that in mind when you're building your character if you want to go that route. So it's really kind of difficult for a tanking person to go this route because you want to up your strength, you want to up your con, you want to up your intelligence. That's 3 stats that you want to have high in. That's fairly difficult to do at character creation.
Yeah.
But at level 3, you get Weapon Bond, which can have up to 2 weapons bounded, and you have to do a ritual for over an hour. But after that, you can call the weapon at will into your hand for a bonus action, as long as the weapon's in the same plane.
They had to make
just
sure
in case.
They had to make sure they put that in there.
Oh, of course. So that's kind of that's really sweet.
You're like Luke when
exactly
your weapon.
You're like, oh, okay, we're not doing combat. They draw swords, flashy. At level 7, when you make a weapon attack, you can cast when you cast a cantrip, you can make a weapon attack as a bonus action. So you're getting 2 different attacks.
Yep.
And if that cantrip, debuff the person, make it easier to hit, well, that's cool. I'm going to hit you with my sword now.
Oh, and at level 3 is when you start getting the spells.
Yes.
At level 3, you could immediately cast 2 cantrips, 3 spells, and 2 level 1 slots. So go ahead again.
And then level 7, War Magic. You can
that's the one you do already.
Oh yeah, whoops. Eldritch Strike at level 10. When you hit somebody with your weapon, that character has disadvantage on the next saving throw it makes against your spell before the end of your next turn. So they've already counted. Okay, let's say you do War Magic. I'm going to hit you with a spell, and then I'm going to hit you with my sword. Now, when I do that again next turn, my spell, you have disadvantage on the DC, and then I'm going to hit you again, which means...
Yep, and it's against you, so if you have a party member that's a wizard, they're not going to get that,
Yeah, it's only your spells.
I would have liked
if it
was like normal. Maybe that creates some synergy within the party.
And that'd be pretty sweet.
It would be kind of sweet, but I'm assuming the playtesters
found that it broken. May have been too broken to have.
But I think it would have been kind of flavorful.
Level 15, you get Arcane Charge, which you gain the ability to teleport 30 feet to an unoccupied space. After you do an action surge, you can teleport after the additional action.
Yeah. So you have to use an action surge, and then you can teleport. It's okay.
I mean, it's being attached to an action, so it allows you to either hit somebody, then teleport back, or teleport forward and hit somebody, so it's kind of nice.
That ability sounds more like a wizard ability, because you want to, get close to your touch attack, and then whoosh, teleport away.
Or for the build that I'm going to talk about later.
Okay.
So, and then at level 18, your last bonus feature is starting at level... when you use your action to cast a spell, you can make a weapon attack. That's different because before it was only cantrips.
Now it's any spell.
Now it's any spell.
Yep. So, we skipped a little bit. Races.
Oh.
Typical half-orc.
Half-orc. Of course, human, because
humans
they're
are very
good
because you get the
bonus feat.
The bonus feat. Oh, another thing we forgot to talk. Go ahead. Let's go with the half-elf, if you want.
Half-elf if you're going the archer route?
Yeah, archer route.
That'd be good.
Half-elf.
Elf and half-elf, same kind of area.
Fighter's one that almost any class, any race can be. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, dwarves with their constitution make
bonus.
Good tanking guys.
Gnomes with their dexterity.
Also, they're good eldritch knights because they have that intelligence bonus too.
Yep. Halflings.
They may be like the one and only class that doesn't have a super good
it'd
fit
be hilarious.
It'd be freaking hilarious to have your little tank be a person who's 3 feet tall. But you can make it work, absolutely.
Something we forgot to mention is that fighters is one of the few classes, I think the only class.
The only class that
they get every other.
Starting off, it's
level 4.
After level 4, every other
level they get. Oh, it's not all of them.
Not all of them,
but they get a lot more ability score bumps than other classes.
I think it works out that they get 3 additional ability score improvements.
Okay. And it's for several reasons, and Josh was pointing it out. They need the feats to make him go.
Aside from their archetypes, they really don't get a lot of bonuses.
Yes.
They get they do get extra attacks later on, so that's cool. They get Indomitable, which lets you reroll a saving throw.
They get extra bonus action surges.
And action surges.
But feats, for them, buffing their stats and their feats is very important for them. So that's why they get those bonuses. For this one, we're going to cut the whole background thing, because backgrounds is based on your...
It's the fluff of your character.
Yeah. And they're all across the same, sailors, it's the same thing for any class. So instead, we're going to try to work on some builds.
Yeah.
So let's start off with, let's go by order.
Yeah.
Archery build. So if you want to be an archery warrior, or a fighter, so I keep saying warrior, you're looking at elves, any race that will give you some dexterity bonus.
Dex bonus, yep.
Okay. Definitely you'll get the archery skill.
Absolutely, why not?
What else you'll go there? Which of the two?
Or three.
Three. So I keep saying two.
Well, in the past video,
most
of them had only two.
When I built my warrior, I didn't want to be a wizard warrior, so I never looked at that. So I just focused on these two, and I keep.
Which is funny, because I actually would really like to see an archer eldritch knight.
That would be kind of interesting.
So you're in the back. You really don't have to worry about your constitution too much, because you're not going to be up in front and taking a brunt of the damage. So you can save your good ability scores for dex and intelligence. Now, weapon bond. Taking out your bow and stringing it and stuff like that, that could take some time if your DM's a little anal about timing. Beep. With this, it's a boop, bow, ding, done.
Yeah.
The other downside to being an archer is when someone comes up and engages you.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh no, I have my bow out. I can't hit this person. Boop. It's my melee weapon now. You don't have to spend your standard action to draw your weapon anymore. And on top of that, you're getting bonuses for hitting your... for making weapon attacks when you cast spells. Which, if your spells are ranged, hey, I don't have to be up close and personal to hit them with my spells.
So you can make it like a very debuff archer fighter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And even an offensive archer that just has that magic component.
Yeah. Also, you could pick a champion, just to get the better crits.
Champion will commonly go with a lot of these, besides the defensive ones.
The Battle Mastery.
Battle Master?
Yeah, I guess you could, because you got like precision attack.
Most of the maneuvers proc off of hit. So
yeah,
it just says hit with your weapon, and if you're shooting a bow, that's a large area.
Yeah.
So you could make Battle Master work. Yeah. I just think the Eldritch Archer would be...
I think it's kind of cool.
So fun. And it makes the teleport good, too.
Yes, definitely.
Because it's like, oh, I'm going to teleport, shoot you. Yay!
Yeah, you engage me, okay, teleport, shoot you.
Or it looks like they're charging up, okay, shoot you, then teleport.
Yeah.
It's good. I like it.
Pretty awesome.
So, defense?
The defensive will be your meat
tank.
Shield.
Yep.
Yeah.
You and me both have a fighter with the defense.
Yes, I made a human fighter. Mm-hmm. I went defense, and I went battle master. Mm-hmm. I used the optional rule for humans and got the feat for the
decreases damage. Heavy armor.
Heavy armor, because it gives you a DR damage resistance against non-magical attacks by 3, and then I have parry. Mm-hmm. So, and I had a split. So my AC was like 20.
The AC would be 19 with this, unless you had some sort of magical thing.
I had a splint mail,
which is 8, and then your shield, which is 1
plus 2. Shields gets 2.
Oh wait, no, it's 16 for the chain, and then plus 2 for the shield, and then 1 for this. So 19 until you get magical stuff.
19, and then I got the parry. So anything that went through got the -3 from the damage resistance. So if you hit me for 4, I'll take the 1. But if you hit me hard, I'll then use the parry to negate more of that damage. So
I actually
it was very, very good until your GM crits and they're like,
it also doesn't work against magic as well.
Exactly.
I actually went a kind of different build with my defensive guy. I actually had Dex as my primary stat.
Okay.
So I had a finesse weapon, and as my bonus feat, I took defensive duelist, which as in a reaction, I can spend it to add my dexterity modifier to my AC after I'm hit with an attack, and if my AC would supersede the roll, it doesn't hit. So I have a 19 AC, and then if someone out of the blue hits me, I can spend my reaction to increase my AC so I don't get hit.
So you went instead of soaking the damage to not even bothering getting hit.
Exactly.
Interesting.
And then we have Duelist. When you're wielding one melee weapon and nothing in the other hand, you get +2 to damage rolls. I don't. It's kind of a weird concept to have like a swashbuckler with +2 damage to one-handed weapon and not go for the two-handed or a shield. So you're kind of like giving yourself a weird kind of like a weird restriction.
Yeah, because normally you have 2 hands. You're like, I want to have something in each one. Right. 2 weapons or a weapon and shield.
Mm-hmm.
Here, it's giving you a bonus to sacrifice not having something in your left hand.
Right.
You know.
I mean,
the bonus is +2 to damage rolls. As a fighter, most of the time you're going to be kind of pretty easy to hit. You should be able to hit things pretty.
Yeah.
Because the average is +3 for your stats, for your attributes, +2 for your proficiency. You're getting a +5.
+5. Yeah.
So, and in 5th edition, AC is not that, you don't have rarely, it's super rare, over 20.
Yeah, no.
You know, so the average stuff is going to be
higher levels,
around 14, 13, 14. So you need 8 and 9s to hit, And the damage is what it kicks in.
Yeah.
Is it better than dual wielding? I don't know.
I think it's more aimed at those, like, finesse, fencing kind of people.
I think it's very fluff. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems cool. I like it.
Great weapon fighting. You just want to hit things hard.
You wanted to be a barbarian, but your group decided that
they need armor.
That they need a little bit of armor in the group, so you went with fighter, and you're like, I still want to do a barbarian. Great weapon fighting.
If you want to be a barbarian, but you're lacking in heals, then you become a warrior, a fighter with armor, so you don't get hit that hard. And you still want to deal a ton of damage.
What great weapon fighting does is it's essentially a pseudo brutal from before in 4th edition. When you roll a 1 or a 2, you can reroll on a damage die. You can re-roll it. You have to take a 1 or 2 if you roll it on the second time, though. But you also gain the benefit if you're using a versatile weapon with 2 hands. You just have to have 2 hands on the weapon that you're using. I actually really like great weapon fighting with the champion archetype, because you're already declaring that you're not really going the defensive route. And then you're saying that you're going the offensive route. So you might as well choose an archetype that rewards you relatively quickly for doing lots of damage. Yeah. I've also contemplated using like a halberd or something like that, so a pole arm,
To get
and
reach.
then there's a feat that's great that it lets you do opportunity attacks from things within your reach.
Oh.
And then you can crit on them because you're taking the champion at level 3. Of course, because of that reach as well, Battle Master's not out of the question because you're having that range.
Yeah.
I don't really see you splashing into Eldritch Knight because you're gonna be up in front, so you're gonna want Con and Strength to be your 2 big things.
The dueling is also kind of cool with Eldritch Knight too.
That's true.
That and you have the other hand.
Yeah, that's true. You actually have a hand open for it.
Yep.
That's a good point, because unless you take Warcaster, you're at a negative for not having a hand
for your gestures.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a good point.
Protection. Protection's the closest thing to a taunt in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if you want more, if your party there's a lot of close combat guys that you're gonna be all like niched together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could do protection, especially if you have rogues, because you know they get a little squishy. You know, so if you're within 5 feet of the rogue, and the guy decides to attack the rogue instead of you, as a reaction, you could give him a disadvantage.
Not even as a reaction.
I thought it was just a reaction.
Oh, it is. Yes, you're correct.
Okay.
My apologies.
But you must be wielding a shield. So it's a very interesting defensive thing. It's not just upping your AC. It's giving you...
It's giving you an alternative to, like, instead of defense, saying, oh, I'm at an 18 armor class. I don't really need to be atrociously higher than that. I'm going to try and protect my friends a little bit more, saying that you have a kind of more melee composition. So
if it's perfect in the champion, because you could get them both.
Yes.
The defense, and you could get the protection.
And that's why champion's just really good, because you get to choose 2 of them. So
and then 2 weapons of fighting.
2-weapon fighting. You can add the ability modifier damage of your second attack. Normally when you're dual wielding, you get normal hit bonuses on both of them, but you only add your modifier damage for the first attack. This lets you do for both of them, which is really sweet.
So basically, most of the time it's going to be a +3. If you max your primary stat, it's going to be a +3 most of the time.
It's also one of the only ways early until the warrior gets extra attack bonuses to get to it, almost like 2 normal attacks.
Yeah. So you want to build a class, build a warrior? What do you think?
Build a warrior.
What would you take?
I'm actually really intrigued in the Eldritch Archer.
So what race would you be?
I'd probably choose half-elf, because I'm not a big fan of elves, personally.
So you take them in small doses?
If I were, like, kind of min-maxing this, a high elf would be perfect, because they get the increase to dexterity, and they also get the increase to intelligence. So that would be the perfect Eldritch Archer. So, of course, I choose... Archery, because, yes. And for a feat, I'd probably choose the sharpshooter to help out my archery. Because first and foremost, you are a fighter, and then your magic is after that.
What 2 cantrips?
Probably what's that druid one with the lash? Important note, you get wizard
cantrips
and spells.
So you're looking at magic hand, wouldn't be bad. Minor illusion, poison spray, ray of frost, shocking grasp.
What's that lash? The whiplash one.
There's no whiplash.
There's no whiplash?
You
There's a druid one.
There's a druid.
Like a thorn whip or something? Yeah, that's it. Maybe that's available?
Can you I thought, no.
Is it not available?
It's not for wizards. It's not in the wizards.
Oh, here we go.
So, you assuming you want an offensive one.
Yeah. Acid Splash is really good. Firebolt, I believe, has a fairly long range, so it lets you stay at that long range. and not have to commit to the forward thing. True Strike would be pretty cool too.
That will gives you.
It gives another creature, I think, advantage on their next strike. So you're kind of buffing yourself. You also have that.
I don't think. Can you do it on yourself?
I'm fairly certain.
So. Mage Hand, because Mage Hand is the way to break everything in the game.
Absolutely.
There's no more discussion. There's always a discussion of how heavy an item is and how big an item is, because the players always want to try to do something with the Mage Hand.
True Strike actually is only for you.
Only for you. Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. So those are 2 spells. And would you spend your ability scores in abilities, or you would get more feats?
I'd probably there's not too many like feats that really buff archery right now. Also, besides sharpshooter, maybe my first. I really think upping your ability scores first in this would be better, because you're going to increase your casting capabilities and your archery capabilities. And already starting off, you're probably not going to have a very strong casting capability, so buffing that early is important.
Any backgrounds that will help?
Off the top of my head, none that like specifically help with that. Like maybe Acolyte for the magic-y part. You're like, oh, I'm an Acolyte who's good at archery. You could actually go. You really don't want like the hermit person, the kind of woodsy person, because you're not a druid, even because you're a fighter still. You want all that awesome armor and stuff.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So guys, that's the fighter. I like it. They did a very good job giving you a lot of different choices. It's no longer it's always done before, but if you take the fighter, you're not automatically going to be the tanky class. You have options to be whichever way you want to do it. So it's very good.
I think they added more options at the starting level. It's the more important part.
Yeah. So, any last?
The fighter's fun. And now I want to make an Eldritch Archer.
Me too now. You convinced me now. So, guys, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for... What's the next one we have?
I believe it's the Monk.
Monk.
Yeah.
Will be our next one we do. So, thank you for watching, guys, and we'll see you later.